Lebatard show.
I am fat.
In Izzy's head, two men walked in with chains on, and those chains had keys. And they both put the keys into thing, turned the lock, boom. These panels open, comes out with this little thing, broke it, got a code in it. They entered the code, and the other code is entered in, and then another flap opens up. There's a red button.
I mean, don't do that.
He's already on my bad side. Don't you join
He's just
him.
mad that he was more famous when he had a show with me on ESPN Radio than he is now.
Oh my damn.
Oh my God.
We all need to take a deep breath.
I don't think.
Izzy, why are you being such a jerk, Izzy? Oh.
Amin is back.
Thank you.
I'm not sure whether we talked him into coming back or whether he just came back on his own. Seems to not have this very flowery.
I mean...
Before we continue, I'd like to just talk to Juju here on how we all fell for that terrible segue, because it had nothing to do with feet or Shaquille O'Neal. You just jumped from Shaquille O'Neal, former teammate of Dwayne Wade, coached by Eric Spoelstra. Boom.
Izzy, no, stop it. Izzy, not Juju. It was just a dream.
And they had a DJ, and it was everything you said it would be.
Yeah.
And it was a split wedding. It was a black family and a white family.
What up, you fan Levitardians? I'm back, because we all know what happened on Thursday's show. The Reddit is a buzz. It's all any Levitard show fan can talk about. Izzy versus Amin. Earlier today, I did a live stream, some heavy analysis there. Had a couple people in there chatting it up with him, breaking that video down. Check that out on our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. We're the fastest growing Dan Le Batard Show fan YouTube channel. Rockets, baby. But Izzy versus Amin. This is an emergency podcast, folks. I could not stay silent. Got to put out a podcast here to talk about what happened. I'm going to walk you through. When I first heard this on Thursday, this is what I thought. That it was an organic, natural conflict that arose. The conflict was real. But as the show progressed, the show leaned into it and turned it into a bit. I thought by hour 2, Izzy was really heavy-handed with it. And the post-game in the podcast, just totally over the top. I'm like, that to me feels like total bit, but I thought it started from a place where it was organic beef between the two. And so from there, went to the Reddit, started seeing, whoa, some people are saying this is a bit. And honestly, I was like, really, you think it's a bit? Like, it felt natural, and like the way they titled it, is everyone okay? Like, it felt like it started from a natural place. So, you know me, when there's something that I want to take a closer look at, you got to watch the YouTube for the Le Batard Show. That's honestly the best. I listen to it again, majority podcast, but the best way for me to experience the show is YouTube, because you can see the expressions of people and all that. And so I watched it today. I analyzed it with some people in a live stream and rewatched it. And rewatching it, it's felt like a bit from the very beginning. And what I learned even before I did that on the Reddit, that Izzy and Amin had done this back in 2016. I found the clip on YouTube, listened to it, found an article that said, people when asked to comment, people at ESPN said, oh, it was all in good nature. It was a fun bit, something they'd done in the past. So that was something people were saying, they've done this in the past. It was a callback to when they've done this in the past. And it was, according to ESPN, it was a bit at that time too. So that's what some people were using. I didn't buy it. But when I watched, it felt like a bit. totally felt like a bit. And I'm going to give you Nathan's top 5 reasons Izzy and Amin's beef is a bit. And you can decide for yourself. I don't know what you are for your team. It was a bit. Again, around this time last year, Aubrey Plaza episode came out around this time. Same time of year, doing the same thing. Not a lot of content. And Amin loves that theater of the mind. Personally, if this is a bit, I don't think the show is going to not let the audience know. I think they are. I think Dan is not going to let it sit. And I think the bit does make Izzy look so bad that if this is a bit, I think we're going to find out as the audience. But for now, well, it remains a mystery, or I guess not 100% confirmation. These are my top 5 reasons why the Izzy and Amin beef was a bit. My OLI, again, they've done this before, right? And they've claimed it's a bit. It's OLI. It's not a big reason. When I first heard it, I was like, I'm not, saying that it was all in good nature could just be a way for ESPN to cover it up. But again, Amin does do theater of mind. He's done this before in the past. And Izzy also seems like a team player. Number 5, everything felt like a wild overreaction. Like they were just, we're going to create a beef. So here's what we're going to do. Here's my overreaction. Like Izzy's joke at Chris Cody's expense felt like a normal fat Chris joke that Dan would have made. You could totally hear Dan laughing at his joke like, I would have never expected you to be late for lunch. And, everybody laughs. Somebody makes Dan, pot calling the kettle black there, soften the blow a little bit, and the show moves on. The show's constantly poking fun at each other, and it doesn't devolve like it did today, but it felt like every time there was something that on other days would be normal, it was ratcheted up to 10. And if you go and you watch the YouTube, you can see it just feels like they're playing it up. That was the feeling that I got. So that's my number 5 reason. Number 4. Oh, let's see. I'm throwing a little sound effect here. Oh, my sound effects aren't working. Come on now. Oh. There we go. Little fighting sound effects. Number 4. Amin smiling at Izzy's impression. So, again, what set off Amin from going out of the show was him with the water bottle doing his drinking thing. If you watch on YouTube, when Izzy grabs his water bottle and does an impression, Amin's first response, big smile, big laugh. He's going, when Izzy goes, like Amin laughs. And then later they cut back and he's all mad and angry. Like, why are you like giving it a big laugh and a chuckle? Like that would dissolve the tension, right? Like, oh, he's over exaggerating it. Like, you know what? You're right. I was too loud. Like, no big deal there. That wasn't a big deal again. Not a big deal. But then suddenly Amin has this big smile on his face. Then they cut away and they cut back. Then he looks angry. I think I think Amin broke in that moment. That is my number 4 reason. Number 2. Or not number 2. I'm so good at counting, you guys. Number 3. The Chris Cody phone call. Now, you guys know I listen to the show super fast, so I didn't catch this in listening. I was listening to the show at like 2.3, 2.5 because I'm back at work now, so I've got to listen to the show faster so I can get through all of the shows that I listen to. And when you're listening faster, it does make, if someone's being inauthentic, like you don't catch that as much as when you listen slowly. So when I watched the video, that was also a big difference. Watching it at one, I did speed it up at 1.25 just so we could cover more ground in the live stream. But at that slower speed, things felt way less authentic, and it really showed in the Chris Cody phone call. Some of the people on Reddit were saying they saw Chris Cody's eyes like glaze over and that he got all nervous. There was no facial expression change. And here was the giveaway that this was a bit. Go back, listen to it on the podcast or watch it on YouTube. Chris Cody calls Amin, and he's like, "Oh yeah, and you're on the air." And then Amin gets mad, and then Chris Cody, his face, there's no nervousness. It's just it is just a blank. There's no expression on the face, and he kind of interrupts himself. If you see, he pauses. He expects Amin to jump in and interrupt him and like go off, and for Amin to take over. When he's on that phone call, he like interrupts himself. Some people might say, "Oh, that's him being nervous," but he doesn't look nervous. He's just on the phone normal, no expression change, and he's kind of like interrupting himself. And Amin hasn't yet gone angry. It's not where all of a sudden Amin's like, "Oh, this guy," like he kind of interrupts himself, and then Amin ratchets it up and covers for him. You miss that when you're listening at a fast speed. So that is my number 3. Number 2 for how Izzy just destroyed the show. Totally took a ratchet to it. Wouldn't stop. It was a bit. And here's why. Hour 2, definitely. So you can believe whatever you want. Again, I think they did a really good job playing it up. I think if you watch the YouTube, though, it does become obvious to me. But I think there's no argument that in hour 2, it was being played up as a bit. Because they went to the standard Le Batard show, like, we're doing a bit format, which is one person in the audience is doing something else. Not in the audience. One person in the show is doing something else than everyone else. And everyone in the show is continuing to press on and do show around that person. That's what Izzy did in the second hour. When they come back from one of their breaks, Izzy still, he won't let it go. He's continuing to be mad and angry. And the show, they're trying to just press on and go on and do other things. Like if this was a legitimate beef, you think they're just going to ignore a coworker who's mad and angry and do that? But that's their bit format. Someone does something, they go back to the main conversation, talk about it, and then they're interrupted by that person again. And if you watch, that's what Izzy does. He's angry. I think this is maybe like after coming back from the second segment that builds into Izzy leaving the show. So he's angry. They go on. They kind of just brush it off, go on. This every time Izzy talks, he jumps back in. He's angry. He's bringing up again. That's the standard bit format of we'll do show. You jump in, interrupt us with your bit, and keep it going. So that's my number 2 reason. And the number 1 reason why I think it's a bit and Izzy did not just go bananas on the show. The post game. When Izzy comes in, that totally that's the jump the shark moment that should let you know it's a bit. When he comes in, Amin's not talking about him at all. And honestly, Amin's, the way the conflict was, Amin, he didn't badmouth Izzy all that much. Like, the only thing he said to him was like, it seems like this is all the content you have. You can't let it go. You can't move on. I want to move on. But Izzy comes in and he's like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, you can't like impugn my character, and you just keep your name out of my mouth. That's a callback to the Tua Ryan Clark beef. And that should be your dead giveaway that it's a bit. Because that was so over the top, so ridiculous, because Izzy was the one driving the beef. And Amin was responding and being angry. He wasn't really bagging on Izzy. So that just felt out of place and over the top and not in line with what the conflict was. That was the jump the shark moment that showed that it was indeed a bit. And so, folks, this, if you believe it, this has been revealed on the Reddit. Now, I'm going to show this here on our YouTube. Somebody has, let's see here. Somebody has posted a picture of a DM from Izzy, who Izzy messaged them. this person, they said, so I was one of the first to see this and respond to this, but apparently there's a DM where Izzy responded to a person and said, was a bit, Amin loves theater. We sold the hell out of it. It hurts taking all these jabs, but I did it for Amin. Really? Wow. Y'all sold the hell out of it. That was good acting. At first, I thought it was a bit, but it kept going. And in the post game, when you told him to keep your name out of his mouth, I thought y'all was about to fight. That's funny. I thought that line gave it away. This is Amin. Because it's what Tua said to Ryan Clark, but I guess it made it even better. Amin loves that stuff. When he proposed it in the morning, we did it once on ESPN radio. I was wondering if I should say no, but whatever. Team player, lol. So this is a parent screenshot. There are a couple things that I noticed that seem, obviously this is something that could be easily photoshopped for somebody playing it up, but is someone going to that lengths? I mean, all the hyper analysis, is someone going to just spend the time to Photoshop a still to fake this? So my first thing was, it does look weird that Amin's the first to respond, and I said that. And then another Reddit person, eventually, let's find my post here. Another person came in and responded and told me, oh, like, I'm the one that Izzy, and it wasn't the OP, which didn't make sense. But another person besides the OP said, oh, he didn't message. I'm thinking he added Izzy, like, bravo, you did such a good job. The Reddit thinks it's real. So I said, why is the first response missing? What's the thing that provoked Izzy to say this? Odd if he just volunteered this to someone. So then Mediocre at Trivia responded, I tweeted at Izzy saying his performance was so good that the Reddit thinks it was real. And then he DM'd me first saying it was Amin's idea and they only told Chris. I think maybe they only told Chris, but clearly if you watch the show, it seems like eventually I think they either had to tell others after a quick break, like, hey guys, we're just doing bit. Like, don't worry about it. Go with it. I think maybe when they started, it was just Chris, but eventually it does seem clear that to me, the rest of the show's in on it. So then I asked, what's your Twitter? Plus you aren't the OP, so odd. This guy responded, I actually found this out before this guy responded to me because I went on a deep dive through Izzy's tweets. So, right, quick pull up Izzy's. I went through what Izzy, he was on Twitter and he was liking a bunch of different comments. Izzy's absolutely like, right, he's playing the heel on Twitter, which again, to me, like, that's classic what Mike does, taking the bit to Twitter. He's liking all these different tweets about it on here. And as we scroll down, I'll find that Chavis tweet here that was sent to him. Lots of scrolling. I might have passed it because I'm scrolling really fast. I think I passed it, honestly. This is great for the podcast here, but maybe a little bit more interesting if you're watching us on the YouTube. But anyway, I mean, I don't have to pull it up. I'll look for it, but I'll keep talking. So I did find the tweet. I thought that could be the possible thing because that's what this Reddit user said to me. It turns out Izzy does follow him, so it is possible that Izzy and him could have a DM exchange and neither of them are verified because that's Twitter's whole new policy. So it is plausible. It's just weird that another user is posting it and then another user's posting this picture. I don't ever see, like, I guess maybe they're friends or something. So that just seemed weird to me. All right, that's weird. I can't seem to find. Maybe I need to just search for that Chavis like 291. Oop, I just accidentally, there he is right there. Okay, here's the guy, Chavis. Find his thing. Where's his tweet? Oh, let's see. Maybe we got to go to his replies since it was right here. Here it is. Bravo on your performance. It was so good. The Reddit thinks it was real. 1 like. That's Izzy. You go to you go back to this guy. He's followed by, let's see. I mean, I know he's followed by Izzy because I've seen it before. But that's everything I've uncovered, guys. I'm feeling strongly that this was a bit. Now, the question is, was it a good bit? Was it something that was entertaining? And I'm on the side of I like it because I always like when the show tries something new. Taking a swig of my late night drink there. I like it when the show tries something new and just takes a swing on something. So, and I'd say I liked it too because when I was watching it, I was very engaged with that slow. I did actually slow it down eventually, and it was an hour 2 that I slowed it down because I was like, I want to like hear more of what people are saying. I think I slowed it down to like 1.8 or something. But I was very engaged with it. So for me, if it's an hour that I'm very engaged with, I'm going to say that's a good bit. You can obviously tell the Reddit's engaging with it. Now, you could question whatever that engagement is, but the views are up. So views are up. Discussion about it is up. And I think people are going to keep talking about it. I think it will be a remembered episode, perhaps somewhat controversial for some, but ultimately for me, you know what? I think it is a worthy bit. And maybe they can, for those of you that are like, why would you do this of like, you know, making Izzy look so bad and why don't you just make funny content? Why? Well, variety, folks. Have a little variety, right? Spice up your life, huh? Mix it up. Give something new. You got to have the awkward tension to appreciate the funny highs, right? Can't always be funny. Okay. I thought it brings variety. I like it. Let me know what you think. Leave a 5-star review. Do you think it was a bit? Do you think it was real? Okay. Put a comment on this, on our video. This is a video here on YouTube you can check out. Put a comment on this. Was this a real bit? There it is, the end of the emergency broadcast. I'm out of stuff. That's all. That's my 2 cents on the Izzy Amin bit. I thought they did a great job because they fooled me. I thought it was organic at the start, but in hour 2, they turned it into a bit. Now I'm in the group that I think it was a bit the entire time. Amin loves theater of the mind. And my closing thing is, this was Amin's, but no improv, right? I think it's Amin who said he wants to come up with some sort of but no improv. This was it. The show was stuck and could not move on. No, but we're not going to move on. No, we're going to stay stuck in this. This was but no improv that Amin has invented and the show did today. And hey, props to them for trying something new. And, you know, maybe it was all real, but I think it's a bit. There's no way Izzy is that much of... They're both professionals, right? They wouldn't just harbor this grudge. It's a bit, folks, and that's it. See you next time.